Welcome back, guys. Now today we're going to look at a figure I've been dying to get to, and since Chinese New Year is almost upon us, I'd like to introduce you to another Asiatic creature, the Kirin. Now, you may know of the Chinese dragon, but the Kirin is something that maybe isn't so well known, so let me introduce that to you now. Now, though not technically a dragon, as you can see the traditional Chinese Qilin, or to use the term Kirin, is essentially a Chinese dragon with the body of a horse, and the Monster Hunter universe has its version of the Kirin, which is why we're lucky to have this, the Capcom figure builder Kirin. Now, the Monster Hunter Kirin takes cues from the traditional Kirin, but has its own unique stamp. Instead of the green of the Chinese dragon, the color palette is mainly one of white and light blue, with some accents in Prussian. The color also relates to its intimate association with electricity, with which it seems to glow, and also as a weapon, which is a kind of a blue lightning that it can call down on enemies, and in the game, that's you. In fact, electricity is very much a part of this animal. Now, its fur is generally very pointed, as if it's perpetually charged with static, which causes its hair to stand on end. The mane and the beard are very wonderfully sculpted, as you can see. Now just look at the texturing here. Very nicely framing the head. And here on the underside, how that creates a kind of a shoulder collar. And down the back a little less furry, and then out again in this tail. Now this fur is also seen in the tufts of hair here on the cannon, from the hock to fetlock, and there again here in the front. Now, instead of antlers, the Monster Hunter Kirin has a spiraling horn from the middle of the forehead, again in a nice blue, which complements the rest of the color scheme. And actually, the Kirin has often been called the Chinese unicorn, so that's this idea manifest right here. The eyes are really nicely painted. I really love the way the red slits look, as if they're glowing and full of menace. A very nice contrast to the overall cool color palette of this Kirin. And by now, it's really not surprising how much detail this little figure builder has, even on this small scale. Now the underside is a pale yellow, and just starting at the throat, you can see this very nice, almost imbricated layering of scales in a triple column. And then down the body, you'll see the usual scales you would see on the Chinese dragon. It's relatively traditional. And then down the legs, you get yet more scale detail. Now the Kirin has a three-part hoof, very similar to ancient horses like the Myohippus. And that detail is so small, you'd hardly notice it, unless you were really scrutinizing and looking for it. And so Capcom scores again. Now I really like how these Prussian blue streaks seem to accentuate the curves and the form of the Kirin. And as for the pose, I absolutely love it. Now, I love horses, and indeed when I tried to learn to draw, the horse was the first animal I wanted to try. And you can see how absolutely show horse-like this is, with one foot raised. Now with the pose, it floats above the base, which I don't like. The one irritation I have about the Figure Builder series is they insist on having even quadrupedal animals attached to an ugly black post on a space-wasting base. But well, traditional Kirin are sometimes said to float on clouds so they don't walk on grass and damage them. So if I imagine that here, maybe I'll feel a little better. So there's the Monster Hunter figure builder Kirin, another superbly detailed and nicely painted miniature, and again taking up so little space. I love dragons, I love horses, and with the Kirin chimera of both, I've always wanted one in my collection. I just never expected my first one to come from the Monster Hunter series. Now, if you have a good collection of the standard dragons and wanted to add something a little unusual but still draconian, then a Kirin could well be a worthy addition. So, have a great week ahead, guys, and to my friends who celebrate it, Happy Chinese New Year! And for everybody, 恭喜发财 and 身体健康 to all of you.